Welcome to Tangled Fandom, where this week we are talking about the film Sinners, and we're featuring the hosts of BMT Harsh Reality. Join us as we give our thoughts about the film, talk about the things that we loved, and stay tuned to the end to hear what films we think should be set in the Sinners universe. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and hit that bell. Let's get started. I had the opportunity to go see Sinners with my co-hosts from BMT Harsh Reality. Introduce yourselves real quick, guys.
It's your boy Marcus, aka Movie Fanatic with a PH, no I.
It's your boy Mike Mack.
Today, we just want to talk a little bit about just what is Sinners, what do we take away from the film, and just like recommendations for future films, like for maybe sequels, other things like that.
Ooh.
So my first question, like, what was your initial impression of Sinners, guys?
I enjoyed it very much. The music was phenomenal in there. The whole storyline of the whole film was awesome. So, yeah, I loved it. 10 out of 10.
I love the story from start to finish. A lot of full circle moments.
Agreed.
Music, great. Scene depictions are great.
Mm-hmm. Acting great.
Yes.
The acting
was great.
A1.
Man.
Michael B. Jordan,
And it got a bunch of one-liners that you would love.
We laughed a lot, right? We laughed a lot watching that movie. So let's talk a little bit about the acting. So Michael B. Jordan,
Yes.
Michael B. Jordan
Playing
definitely
twins.
did his thing playing the twins.
Yes.
Yep.
Like
And they were different.
Legit thought that they were two totally different people.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the way that you are introduced to the various characters in the movie is unique. They all have like their own unique ways of coming in, and it's pretty cool. Like you talk about those one-liners, the way that Mary came in. So, and we're trying not to spoil it, so go see it. I know it's a couple weeks after the film has come out, but still like to have a little bit of integrity. What about Annie? Let's talk about Annie. Annie, I think, to me, was like the heart of
the mother hen.
She was the mother hen,
mother.
but she was also, I feel like, the heart of the film.
Yeah.
Or Sammy. Her and Sammy, I think, were the heart of the film.
I think
Sam
was the soul.
The soul.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sammy was
Yeah,
the
I can agree
soul.
with that.
Like,
Yeah, Sammy
Annie
was
was
the
the
soul.
Annie was the heart.
Mm-hmm.
Smoke was the brains.
Mm-hmm. I'd agree with that.
Say Smoke was the brains?
Yeah,
Who
I would
was
agree.
the-
I agree that
We
Smoke-
think
Smoke-
Stacks?
It wasn't
I'm gonna
Stacks.
say both of them, but yeah,
No,
I guess we can.
Stacks is the
He was more the vibe,
charismatic.
I felt more like the vibes from him.
He's more of the personality. He's the personality.
The personality.
So I'll give you that, but I'd also argue with him and Sammy were the legacy of the film. If you think about the context of what happened,
Well, yeah.
I think they're both the legacy of the film. I feel like they represent the diverging paths of what happened in the juke joint.
Yep.
Yes.
So what would Mary be?
Mary was the Delilah because I think she represented like the ambition that he wanted to have, but
during
was
that time
willing
period.
but was willing to betray it.
No, the real quote
Go ahead.
of Mary: "Hell is paved with good intentions."
What about Remick?
There was that. Well, he represented a lot of things. He was definitely, like I said, the antagonists in this film were pretty awesome. I think understanding the historical context of the time, because the movie was set in the 1930s, right?
Yeah,
1930s.
1930s.
You talk
Mississippi and the Delta.
I feel like when I talked about the preview articles. So if y'all don't know, they have like articles. Like in IMDb of the preview to set you up for the movie. So in one of the articles, like they talked about stuff being stolen. Do you think Remick really knew? Because it came from the Irish.
It's very possible.
So
it's very possible that he could have sowed the seed for somebody else to tell them so that they could, because like they were looking for Sammy.
Yeah, because they heard him singing.
Especially.
Yeah. No, that's what led him. But
you know what I just thought about, and I know we're getting off topic a little bit, but we're not. Remember whose guitar it was, right?
Yeah, it was his uncle's, and they thought they got it from. Well, Stack told him that. Oh yeah, we got that from a famous musician.
Yeah,
we can get off a gamble
for him though. That's what I'm saying. He told Sammy that. when in reality that was
It
their
was-
daddy's guitar. So what if that guitar was an artifact that actually? There you go.
Uh,
There you go. Yes. Yeah.
So their uncle could have been.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you talking about the one that made the deal with the?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the song Crossroads.
Yes. Yep. So it's just interesting, like movies like this, they create like a lot of like you see. We're saying a whole lot without saying
Didn't they beat the
saying
deal?
much of anything, right? But like movies like this, like they cause you to think and psychoanalyze. Like I said in the BMT Harsh Reality episode, so go ahead and check that out on Spotify. It's a period piece, like a historical period piece that has a lot of themes that overlap with a lot of different like societal happenings during that time period. Like it was in the 1930s. It was you had the convergence of the different groups coming in Mississippi, right?
Yep.
And it all played out in the different characterizations.
Yes.
But switching gears for a sec, what was your favorite scene that you, without spoiling every detail in the scene? What was your favorite scene, VZ?
I got lots of them, but like
All of them.
all of them. Okay, so there's two specific. One of them was the music scene when he was singing in the juke joint, and they had all the different things coming in there, or different people.
That is one of the
That's
most
one.
beautiful
Another one
scenes
was
I've ever
when
seen in a movie.
Another one was when was doing Rocky Road to Dublin. Another scene I just thought about was, so you remember when Remick was going after Sammy in the water and he was over there saying the prayer?
Yes.
And then Remick was over there saying it with him.
Yes.
But also he was going in like, well, look, we used to say, this stuff was,
It got a historical
lesson into it. And I was just like, my bad. I was like,
it's all good.
gosh, that's crazy. I was like, ooh.
Well,
I
think that also like that, thinking about that scene too, it talks about, like, if you think about some of the stories you listen to growing up spiritually, whatever your denomination is, everybody knows the verses, the quote.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So it wasn't interesting. Like there was definitely a lot of religious overtones in that movie. But Mike, back to you, what would you say were your favorite scenes? If you had one or two.
Well, outside of the juke joint music scene,
Great scene.
I really enjoyed the development, the character development, the setup in the train station scene.
Yep, I like that too. I like that too.
Because you get almost every character in introduced.
Mm-hmm.
You get
Mary,
you get
John,
Mary, Perline, all them introduced at the train station.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then it gives you a little backstory of like who they are, like what they like, what they do, and it just like at the end it becomes like a gumbo where you
It was
see
very much a gumbo.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got the rice, you got
great
the
way to describe
sausage.
it.
So
Describe it.
that was that one. And cornbread scene.
Yes.
Hey, man, give me my $2.
Almost every cornbread scene, but
he was definitely a singing stellar for sure.
yes.
But I mean, I feel like that actor, he's great for playing those roles.
Miracle singing. But yeah,
for myself, the juke joint scene for sure, because like just the imagery and the connectedness that was shown from, like, you start with the blues and then it's like boom. And as somebody who loves going to the National Museum of African American Music, that scene felt like that museum in a movie scene. Like all the connectedness of where we come from to where we're going to where we could go. And it was amazing to see that mashup. Like, I think that's one of the most beautiful movie scenes I've ever seen. So I'm sorry for individuals who haven't seen the movie up until this point, but that's one of those ones, whether you know it's coming or not, you're going to be like, whoa, I wasn't prepared for that. I also like the juke joint. After the thing started happening, it basically became a bottle episode of a show where they're all stuck in one room and they're trying to, navigate this problem. And then you just being able to see how the different people are perceiving this threat
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
the garlic and all that. Like it was like, okay, so these characters that weren't fully fleshed out because up until this point everybody was just having a good time trying to get to the juke joint. Now you get to see what they're really made of, and I think that this movie did a beautiful job of creating dynamic and compelling characters in a short amount of time, even though the movie was what
2 hours.
2 hours, but you were on edge of your seat the entire time.
Yeah, that one, it was from start to finish. It was,
and you just sitting there just like, yo, this is.
and honestly,
great.
I was sitting here like, yes, it took a minute to build up, especially to get to the whole vampire scene and stuff like that.
Climax of the movie?
Mhm.
Well, climax, yeah, essentially,
The inciting incident.
but
What's going to be that? Yeah,
right, but I will say with this film, like we mentioned, they did a really good job with trying to give everybody's backstory and stuff, so that way, when stuff hits the fan, like everybody's story, like it makes sense. And
I think to your point, like that's a huge like trademark of a Ryan Coogler film. So my question for y'all is kind of like, what is it about these type of films or Ryan Coogler films that really, because there's been a lot of think pieces about and a lot of people videos talking about Sinners. What do you think it is about these type of movies that make people really want to start to decode it and talk about the deeper meaning of things?
I think because the stuff that he's doing, Ryan Coogler, and even movies like this, in a way, at least for us, the black culture is very relatable. Like we can relate to it in a way. Like, yes, I know we haven't personally dealt with like the stuff they had like with Jim Crow and all that stuff, but knowing that like our family dealt with that, that's like something that we seen, notice, and stuff like that. And I think that's why because we are so aware of what's going on, we were like, okay, we can, in a way that kind of helps us, or that makes people want to decode what's going on. Oh, that relates to this, or this scene relates to this this type of thing. So I think it's because of having that not relation, but the knowledge and
the relatability,
being able to relate to it. Yes,
Okay,
I think that could be part of it. The reason.
I like that. What about you, Mike?
So what I feel like Ryan Coogler's strength is that he does like in Sinners, he did like what Jordan Peele did in Get Out. Where it's just like one of those where you're just sitting there like, okay, it's mystery at first, but the development of the characters kind of push the mystery aspect of it, because it's just like when you first turn on the when the movie first comes on, the first thing you see is like a question just pops up and it's like, what's going on? So then you're already hooked. So I feel like with Ryan Coogler films, that initial questioning is what gets you hooked into trying to figure out the rest of the movie. And that's why I said, because the first scene and the last scene was a very big full circle moment, because it gave you clarity from the question that you got at the very beginning of what is going on, what just happened.
I agree with that, and I think that the thing that Ryan Coogler does, I think, better than a lot of major budget storytellers at this particular juncture, is he weaves tapestries. He literally, like those quilts, those stories are woven, and each character is carefully crafted and put into the story to make it make sense in the greater tapestry that is the film. I mean, he did that in the Black Panthers. He did that in Fruitvale Station. He, even Creed. And shout out to his choices for composer Ludwig, man, dude, seeing Ludwig's career take off to where he's being called to really come up with some creative sounds to tell these stories, it's so awesome. Like, it's like seeing one of your friends grow up and do well. So as we get closer to the conclusion of this episode, we've got one more question for y'all. What it would be if you take everything that was established in the Sinners universe, right? what would be if you could pitch Ryan Coogler a sequel? How would your sequel pitch go?
Or does it have to be a sequel?
A sequel, continuation in the world, a completely new story.
I mean, to be perfectly honest, I would want to see more of a. I mean, it could be a sequel, but more of a prequel, as far as Native Americans and like how they knew about vampires per se. Cause, you know, they were chasing after him. So I'm like, okay, so how did that start? What brought us to this situation for him to be coming out here? And you know, I think that would be interesting to see, and even seeing like, are they still keeping that tradition going as far as hunting vampires, like the vampire hunters?
You do like what natives versus vampires?
Yeah, that could be interesting.
I will say, I didn't even think about the prequel. The prequel was great. Yeah, that'd been good.
A1.
But I would have kind of pitched the journey of Sammy, like after that. So like even like the moments where he talks about, so can't talk about that part. but I will say like from Sammy surviving, how the survivor's remorse builds up, the journey that he took to get where he's at, and then also you can actually pan it to the supervision that was requested for him.
See,
if I can say that.
No, you did. You're good. You're good. I would like to see a Vampires in Brooklyn remake in the Sinnerverse, or as I've been seeing online, more interview with a vampire, like saying I would like, or even a Blackula or a Blade. Like, wouldn't it be crazy if that was actually a Blade prequel?
Like, oh wow.
You know, like and such and such is actually is the daddy is the development. Exactly. Ooh. Exactly.
There are different types of
vampires. Could you imagine if that was like, well, yeah, we've been having issues with Blade for all this time, but secretly they were trying to see if the vampire concept and the Daywalker concept would work with Ryan Coogler,
because he could develop it to being that. Because
he can do it too.
You turned a black man, which is more melanated. He can survive the sun alone.
And then there you go, and you basically split. You get hit it with the split treatment. Well, I would just want to thank y'all for just listening to the channel. Just remember to like, subscribe, and comment. Like, what were your favorite moments from Sinners?
And if you haven't seen it, go see it.
Please.
You know?
Oh, absolutely.
Please go see it.
And listen to the BMT Harsh Reality, because we spoil.
Go listen to the spoil. If you want to hear the spoiler-filled review of this movie, please check out BMT Harsh Reality.
There's 2 episodes on.
There are 2 episodes. The first episode is very, very close to the plot of the film. But as we say always on Tangled Fandom, until next time, keep embracing the fandom you love, and we'll see you real soon.